the thing when life kicks you and you fall down, but you want to get up. What is their purpose? Is it your family? Is it a cause which is larger than you? Because sometimes we can't help ourselves. Is there something that wants us to help people around us? Instead of looking at chewing gum happiness, it's a term that I've been using. Chewing gum happiness means happiness which is fleeting. Perhaps we should look at a larger happiness. And perhaps that is related to our cause, to our purpose. So my colleagues are going to speak about mental health and all the details about social media, but if only I could share one thing with you, I would definitely say, look at your purpose. Look at the human being that you aspire to be. The other things are peripheral. They're technology. The only thing, there's this idea, every generation thinks, and by the way, there's some data for that too, that the generation after them are getting smarter. Although recently at alternate data বেরিয়েছে কিন্তু তাই যদি হতো after Copernicus আমাদের এখানে মিনিস্টাররা হতো না, after Galileo Donald Trump হতো না. The world doesn't move this way. Intellect, wisdom doesn't move that way. It is in some way related to all the generations. The only thing that is changing is technology. And just treat it like that. But treat your fellow human being with empathy. But the last point I'm going to say, empathy is used in a very limited way. Empathy, we say, putting yourself in someone else's shoe. Khub bhalo kotha. Perhaps it's more than that. Perhaps the same thing can be shaped differently, and we can say empathy is recognizing that every human being suffers, every human being feels pain, and at the same time, every human being has the capacity to be loved. And with that love of a human being, if you move forward, I think we can be in a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I totally agree with what sir started, that আমরা সবসময় কমপ্লেন করি, বাচ্চাদেরকে বলি বা ইয়াং জেনারেশনকে বলি যে তোরা ভীষণ বেশি সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া ইউজ করিস, বাট আমরা তো নিজেও করি, সবসময় করি. সো আমি যদি আমার ক্ষেত্রে বলি, ফর মি নাও ইট ইজ ইম্পসিবল ফর মি টু স্টে আই থিঙ্ক আ ডে উইদাউট মাই ফোন, ইন্টারনেট ও সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া. তো এই যে মানে এক্সেসিভ একটা ইউজ হচ্ছে, সেটা তো স্যার আপনি খুব ভালোভাবে এক্সপ্লেন করলেন. বাট আর একটা জিনিস আমি পয়েন্ট একটুখানি আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাই, সেটা হচ্ছে স্যার যে এই কম্প্যারিজনটা সারাক্ষণ যে হচ্ছে বা পোস্টিং, যেটা নাওয়াডেজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি দ্য সোসাইটি ইজ মেইনলি ফোকাসড অন হাউ উই আর অ্যাডভার্টাইজিং আওয়ার সেলফ, how we are promoting ourselves, how much we are active on our social media. তার উপরে বেস করছে যে আমি কতটা ট্যালেন্টেড, আমি কতটা পপুলার, বা আমি লোকে আমায় কতটা পছন্দ করছে, বা আমি কতটা চান্স পাচ্ছি, অপরচুনিটি পাচ্ছি. সো এইটার পার্সপেক্টিভে আপনি কি বলবেন?
I can share only very little light on this because I never see life as that way. If I do have to compare, I generally don't, but if I do, I only compare with the best in the world. I don't compare people around me. What I mean by that is, okay, let's put it this way. Amra shobai jani what are gurus, kotha theke amra shikhi. There are essentially three forms of gurus. Number one is books, or not books. Number one is you actually have a guru, yeah? An individual who helps you develop. Number two are books or texts and videos for that matter. Then there is another guru, and it's very simple, but it's the hardest thing to do. And that is, your ultimate guru should be not repeating the mistake I repeated yesterday. That is it. As simple as that. যে মিস্টেকটা কালকে করেছি আমি ওটা আজকে করব না. If we can do that, that's the biggest guru. And what do I mean by that? Compare yourself with the person you were, not with people around you. We are all at different stages of development. We're all As much as it is not important to be comparing ourselves and thinking we are different, it is also important to recognize we are really not. Although I'm like social media, I'm different. I'm crazy. Na baba, tumi eto different na. Tumi eto crazy na. This has all happened before. We are all on that similar line. So I will just say, again, comparison, and those especially shallow kind of comparison comes when you don't have your own identity, don't know what is your own journey. That is why I come to the same thing I was saying. Try to think, what is your purpose as a human being? A roop, a chul, a looks, khub bhalo. Everything is important. It's important to have those, first impression. They don't last. And if you're just defined by that, is that the human being that you aspire to be? If you do have to compare, compare with people who are saving the world. Compare with people who are climbing mountains and, putting food in front of people who don't have food. Comparison is not the problem. With whom we are comparing, that is the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And one more thing I want to add with what sir said, that sir has beautifully answered the point. And the unfortunate thing is, irony of our society is, যেটা স্যার বললেন যে যারা ওই খাবার দিচ্ছে লোককে, যারা ভালো কাজ করছে, আনফর্চুনেটলি দে ডোন্ট পোস্ট দেয়ার ওয়ার্ক অন সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া. They are away from social media. যারা করছে না তারাই পোস্ট করে, and we unfortunately compare ourselves with them. মানে যারা অ্যাকচুয়াল আইডল তাদেরকে আমরা কোথাও খুঁজে পাই না. তারা যে কাজটা করে তারা খুব চুপচাপ করে, তারা সোশ্যাল মিডিয়ায় থাকে না. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Moving to our next panelist, Dr. Nivedita Mukherjee. My question to you is, what are the most common risks that we are facing nowadays while using this social media in our day-to-day life? And what are the practical steps or the measures that you will suggest to the young generation to stay away from those risks?
Thank you, Devangana ma'am. Yes. So what are the common online risks associated with this constant online use? So first is, if we can find this answer in a big umbrella and give 3 pointers: biological, psychological, and social risks. Okay. So biological risks might involve that poor appetite or binge eating, snacking, like that. Sleep, disrupted sleep, increased sleep during daytime. Sometimes insomnia might be resulting. Biological functioning might include sleep, appetite, energy, loss of energy because of this constant social media use, online use, back pain, eye strain. These are all practical risks that might be associated with it. Apart from that, if we move on to the psychological factors, psychological risks, that might involve first, due to this in constant comparison, stress might increase, or low self-esteem. It might result in low mood, guilt, impulsivity might be increased, and constant thinking that if I post something, how many likes I get, it causes irritability, sometimes lack of concentration in my class or in my day-to-day work. It can disrupt it like that. Or emotional dysregulation definitely might be a result of all of these factors. And at the extreme cases, definitely we can see addiction. That is most extreme case we can see: online addiction, digital addiction. So these can be the psychological factors. Apart from these biological and psychological factors, some of the social factors like social isolation, withdrawal, because of constant I am in front of everyone, but we are not talking to each other. We are always on my phone. So this might decrease our social responsibility and social harmony. And also, sorry. And also, it might get worse than day by day. It's getting worse than day by day When I feel that, I'm just giving example, to my family members who are not that much very tech savvy, they sometimes forward certain good morning and good night messages, that's all. And in front of social gathering, when all the people, all the other family members are sharing their thoughts and constantly on their mobile, they're just observing them. They don't have, yes, they don't have anything to contribute. So that's also a very important social situation, scenario we can come across day by day right now. And apart from that, it's very basic level social isolation, social cyber crime. And cyber crime, so what is cyber crime actually? It is cyberbullying, cyber crime, it's increasing day by day. So if I am posting something and I am making it public, so there are a lot of people who can see that post and actually commenting on them, trolling. So we need to get out of this, and we need to take proper preventive measure how to deal with it. Peer pressure, everyone is doing certain things, so I also have to do that. This compulsion, becoming compulsion. And sometimes exposure to inappropriate content, some hoax views, some belief we get just seeing a post, one side of the story. We can get those misinformation. So these can be the social risk factors associated with it. And how to resolve this, the next important question, it is really we need to think about it. There are certain ways we can reduce it, but practically, is it possible to reduce or cut off complete internet? It's not possible. So we need to work on ourselves, how much time I'm investing, how much energy I'm investing, and how much it is affecting my day-to-day life. We need to assess that. And after assessing that, we can take appropriate measures like reducing the screen time, or we can take like a digital detox time, or before posting something, we can think, stop, and then react. Before commenting, again, we need to check. Password setting, very important. What I am doing right now, it's not necessary to put it Facebook or any social media right now. You can give it after some time. So that delay, gratification of delay, we can do like that. So these are all basic measures.
So thank you, ma'am. Ma'am has given the answer like a true psychologist and academician with all the important clinical points and measures that we should take to prevent ourselves from this excessive media use and to keep ourselves safe from this online misleading informations. And as ma'am has already mentioned, the cyberbullying and cyber crime, misleading information, all those things. So with that, with continuation of that, I want to ask our next panelist, Professor Samir Khan, that I would, as everybody has mentioned, this concept of cyberbullying, and we all know that this is trending nowadays. The cyberbullying, cybercrime, then this commenting, negative comments on social media, so all those things. So how can one individual critically evaluate or sense that something wrong is happening with my account or with this social media page, with all this online information, and how to avoid all this cyberbullying and mislead information?
Well, first of all, thank you, Devangana ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to talk on this very crucial topic. And it's also a very sensitive topic that many people just talk about without giving any actionable steps to take. So first and foremost, what I would like to talk about the misinformation part. Most of us, we as humans, we believe that we are rational individuals, rational beings, okay? But that is where the flaw lies, because rationality without knowledge is just stupidity. Because if you want to be rational, you must have all phases of the situation. You must evaluate every situation, every aspect of the situation, and then make a correct judgment of your behavior or the outcome. But what is happening right now is how we are receiving the knowledge. As Professor Aich correctly mentioned, that we have gurus. So, referring to the Vedic logic, that we have 4 different sources of knowledge, one being the pratyaksha or the direct perception, where we see the thing or situation with our own eyes, we experience that situation firsthand, and then we gain the knowledge. Then there is upamana, anumana, and shabd, which are like indirect resources where you make an inference from a particular information. For example, if you see smoke, you directly, based on your previous experiences, you understand, okay, there must be a fire. But it may not necessarily be a fire. The source of smoke can also be something else. But with the previous experiences that we have had, we generally go into that direction. Then we compare things, as ma'am was also talking about, that how we compare our situation with others and then make an inference or evaluative judgment of where we are standing in a given society. And the last being from a guru, like from teachers or from books, we are getting these kind of resources. But eventually, the ultimate understanding or the onus of understanding lies with us, how we are going about it. In the modern social media or in the generative AI era, the problem lies is whenever we see something, we immediately start believing in it. There are content which we have an inclination towards believing. And there's a reason why that happens. I mean, most of us have already experienced that whenever we are talking about something and we scroll the internet, suddenly something related to that product or concept is popping up on our social media. Okay, so are we going ahead and looking for the content? No. In the modern social media era, the content is actually looking for us. And there is a particular way these content are presented in front of us. That is the emotional hijack, that what we call emotional hijack. The content will start with a particular notion that will give you an emotional trigger. It will cause some kind of fear, anger, anxiety, or something like, you will feel like, okay, oh, I knew it. You start feeling smug about it. So that is the emotional hijack, and this is done with a purpose that when you are emotionally hijacked, you are thinking from your amygdala rather than thinking from your prefrontal cortex, which is the logical center of your brain. You do not think rationally. You start thinking emotionally. Okay, I like this, I am going to believe this. Okay, I don't like this, I am not going to believe this. So the information is curated in a manner in front of you that you are inclined to take a particular decision based on that. So whenever information is presented to you, the first step to critically evaluate, as ma'am was asking, that information is to see whether it is causing any kind of emotional hijack within you, whether you're feeling triggered by that content or not. The moment you find that yes, this content is triggering you, either negatively or positively, you have to be cautious that, okay, there might be some hidden agenda behind this content and how it is being presented to you. Another thing is, we have all been taught to look into the content or investigate the content vertically. Like you land on a particular news article on social media, and to verify the source, the first thing that you do is look into the design of the website, and you look into the about section, all the information that is there over there. But in the age of generative AI, it is very easy to create a fake website with fake information. I mean, if you ask me, I can create one fake website with all the necessary information to make it look like a genuine one within 5 minutes with the right prompt. So misinformation and identifying misinformation nowadays is not about looking vertically through it rather than horizontally. You must go on the internet and search for the same content and see how many websites are coming up and what all genuine sources are actually talking about it. That is one of the key ways you can identify this. If there is a video source, generative AI is getting smarter and smarter in coming up with deep fakes. But if you have a close eye and keen eye, you can also identify that, okay, this particular video or this particular content is generated by AI. Also, you can go and search for it. And last but not the least, what I would talk about in terms of critically evaluating internet resources or information on the internet is the SIFT model. That is SIFT, as Nivedita ma'am has already talked about it briefly, that first you need to stop. Before you share something in the WhatsApp group, family WhatsApp group, or you have the intention of sharing it on your stories, on your statuses, or just mere forward it to a friend of yours, you stop yourself. Because it is triggering you and you are immediately, impulsively going to click on the share button, and then you're going to tap on the the boxes on the screen, because it is very easy to do that. And that is why you need to first stop yourself. The next part is you need to do a little bit of preliminary investigation at your end. Then you need to do, the F is fact check. You need to check different multiple resources about where this information is coming from. And the last part is tracking. You need to track where where is the origin of this information. And this is how you can identify and stop the spread of misinformation, and you yourself can safeguard yourself from the misinformation. But this is a technique that I'm talking about, which is very ideal. But most of the time, even us, we fail to do that. And that is because something called availability heuristics. If everyone is talking about the same thing, it must be true. Then we have a tendency of believing what is readily being presented in front of us. Our brain, our mind is the laziest of the organism, if you can say, in terms of reasoning or in terms of decision making. It always tries to find out the shortest route to coming to a decision. So when you are actually trying to come up with a logical way of thinking, your brain will always try to find the shortest, most easiest way of coming to a particular decision. And that is when you fall for availability heuristics or representative heuristics. Whichever information is coming to you the most, because the algorithm tracks your behavior. You like one particular post and all the related content keeps coming to you. And then you start believing that to be true without even questioning. Okay, everyone is saying this, so it must be true. So that is one thing. And I would like to end with the context of cyberbullying, trolling, how you can stop it. Well, with the advent of internet, this cyberbullying and trolling, which is also a part of cyberbullying, has come up. But it is just a digital form of bullying where the perpetrator has a digital shield, which is very difficult to cross for the victims. So most of the time, it's very easy to victimize someone on an internet platform. But bullying as a behavior has existed long before, internet was there. but in a more physical and material form, in a social situation. If you are, first of all, if you fall victim of bullying, be it online or be it offline, especially in case of cyberbullying, know your rights. Okay, there are laws to protect you against it. There are safeguards put in place by the lawmakers to safeguard you from this kind of victimization. That is the first thing you have to know. Another thing is, you reach out. Reach out to anyone. Reach out to anyone. The first person you reach out may not give a heed to your plea, like, they will tell you like this happens to everyone, why are you making a fuss about it? Okay, just because it happens to many does not necessarily make it right. You have to be the one to voice your distress, that yes, I am not feeling okay with this kind of situation. If one person doesn't listen to you, you go and talk to the next. Okay, because help will only come when you ask for it. Another thing is, if you see somebody is getting bullied and they do not have the strength to come and talk about it, you provide support. Don't be a savior, be a support. It is the victim who is going to be able to talk about their situation, who is going to talk about their condition. You going ahead and trying to be a savior is probably not what the victim is looking for. Maybe the victim is trying to gain strength to come up and talk about it. They are not looking for you to come and be their voice. First, try to understand that. Whether whoever is the victim, it may be your friend, it may be a stranger, if the victim is asking for support or the victim is asking you to be a savior. That is something you should be careful about. And last but not the least, you also need to reflect on your online behavior, how you are talking about people, how you are spreading misinformation or gossip, because gossiping is also a way of bullying someone. It's an instrumental aggression. You may not be directly affecting the victim, but you are indirectly tarnishing their reputation with gossip. Are you doing it? Are you bullying someone indirectly through these kind of behavior? That is also something that is very important. Okay. Putting a hate comment on somebody's post is very easy. But resisting yourself and reflecting on yourself and seeing yourself in the mirror is sometimes very difficult. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take the easy way or are you going to take the right way? That is something that you need to reflect on. And with that, I would like to conclude my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. আর এটা খুবই it's a very difficult choice for everyone that whether to take the right path or to take an easy path that is everybody else is taking, or to take the right path which is correct. আর এটার সাথে আমি একটু অ্যাড করতে চাই স্যার, আপনাকে আমি একটা জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাই যে আমরা সবসময় হয়তো এই যে সাইবার বুলিং বা ফ্রড কলস বা যে ওটিপি শেয়ার করা বা কল ফ্রম ব্যাংকস, দিজ আর ভেরি কমন নাওয়াডেজ, বাট উই অফেন কমপ্লেন যে আমাদের যারা এল্ডারলি পপুলেশন আছে আমাদের বাড়িতে, আমরা সবসময় কমপ্লেন করি যে তোমরা এটা ফল্টটা তোমরা করো, ওটিপি শেয়ার করে ফেলেছো বা এই কলটা ধরেছো বা এই ইনফরমেশনসগুলো তোমরা শেয়ার করেছো। বাট আমি যদি আমার এক্সাম্পল দিই, আমিও মাঝে মাঝে হয়তো কনফিউজড হয়ে যাই যে কখনো এরকম কল এলে আমিও হয়তো 5 মিনিটের জন্য ভাবি যে whether it is true or it's fake or real, whether I should share my OTP or not, what to do. তো এইটাই what should be the first aid action that we should take যখন এরকম কোনো একটা ইনসিডেন্ট আমরা ফেস করি?
I just want to add something. Did you see Commissioner's son got spook like that, scam like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
সেটাই বলছি আমি যে
Absolutely, it can happen to anyone.
বিং অ্যাওয়্যার আমরাও কিন্তু এই ট্র্যাপে পড়ে যাই।
Absolutely.
তো সবার কাছেই আমার এই প্রশ্নটা, চারজনের কাছেই, যে what should be the first aid action that we should take?
Okay, so that's a very important and very relevant topic that you have brought up, and I have elderly parents as well, and it is one of the toughest job to tell them what to do and what not to do on the internet, because nowadays we have seen that the elderly population is also quite smartphone savvy. If not tech savvy, they are quite smartphone savvy. They know how to use social media, how to watch reels and share them with their peers, because it has become a new way of connecting with their age mates and relatives, everyone. So that also makes them very susceptible to this trap or the scams that are going on around. So recently, I was watching one particular documentary on Netflix about why people get scammed, and this has been a longitudinal study for few decades now in the field of psychology, and I was hoping that the study would conclude with some kind of personality trait, some kind of way of thinking or something that would give us some idea that what kind of people are susceptible to being scammed. Eventually, the study concluded with one answer, that we get scammed because of a very human characteristics that we have. That is trust. We get scammed because we trust. Not everybody is getting scammed, because sometimes you trust someone and they keep it up. But there are people who misuse your trust and then they scam you. So এই যে আজকাল যে অনলাইন স্ক্যাম হচ্ছে বা সাইবার ক্রাইমের থ্রু দিয়ে বিভিন্ন রকমের যে সাইবার ক্রাইম হচ্ছে and all of that, the very first thing that the victim does in kind of situation is trust the other party. There's a call from the bank, someone saying, okay, I am this person, I'm the bank manager. I trust them that they're telling the truth. Somebody comes and tells me that, okay, they need my phone to call their family because they're in a crisis. I trust them and give them my phone. Okay, so এই যে স্ক্যামের ব্যাপারটা রয়েছে, এটা অবভিয়াসলি আজকে আবারও বলবো যে বুলিং যেমন ফিজিক্যাল কন্ডিশন থেকে সাইবার বুলিং এ কনভার্ট হয়ে গেছে, স্ক্যামিং জিনিসটাও একটা সময় ফিজিক্যাল ফর্মে ছিল। আমরা বিভিন্ন রকমের চিট ফান্ডের স্ক্যাম দেখেছি। ওকে, তারপরে দের ইজ আ সেইং যে বানারসের যে ঠগ বলে যে একটা আলাদা প্রফেশন রয়েছে, which is like professional scammers. ওকে, দেন তো সেইটা গিয়ে আজকে যখন মানে ডিজিটাল ফরম্যাটে এসছে, যেখানে আমরা বিভিন্ন রকমের সিরিজেও এইগুলো ডেপিকশন দেখছি। ফর এক্সাম্পল, অ্যামাজন প্রাইমে দের ইজ আ সিরিজ কল জামতারা, যেখানে দেখাচ্ছে একটা এন্টায়ার ভিলেজের প্রফেশনটাই হচ্ছে টু ডিজিটালি স্ক্যাম পিপল। ওকে, তো সেই কনটেক্সট গুলো দেখানো হচ্ছে। সো স্ক্যামিং হ্যাজ অলওয়েজ এক্সিস্টেড, it has just changed its form with the advent of technology. There is much more technology involved in it right now, but the only thing that we can do is just outsmart the scammer, and to do that we just need to take a pause and wait and verify the source. For example, if somebody is calling from your bank and they are saying that, okay, this is a very urgent situation, because the scammers always create a sense of urgency. Okay, you do this or something bad is going to happen. Okay, keep in mind, whatever happens, the world is not going to come to an end in a single second. Okay, so just take a pause, have a talk with few other people around you. If possible, whatever source they are claiming, just go directly to that source. Because I'll tell you, scammers do not wait for you to be scammed. The moment you take a few minutes or few hours or some time, okay, they have the sense of urgency to go to the next victim. Okay, you pick up a call, the scammer tells you that, okay, I'm calling from the bank. You tell them, okay, wait for me at the branch, I'm coming. That person will just disconnect the call and will never get back to you. If somebody, like video calls you and everything that you have been digitally arrested and this and that, just tell them, okay, do one thing, come with the warrant at my home, I'll wait. Okay. And you will never see their faces. So just put up a challenge. If somebody stops you, on the road and they are like, okay, I'm in a crisis. I need to call someone. My phone is, broken, this or that. Can I make a phone call with your phone? You just tell them, okay, I am not a competent authority to assist you in a crisis. Just wait a second. There's a police officer down the road. Let me call the police officer. He will help you out. So these are the ways you can actually, avoid being scammed. And you can also tell your parents or family members like what to do in such situations. You need to understand whenever, again, that emotional hijack, whenever that sense of urgency is being created, you take a pause. Don't make emotional decisions. Pause yourself, think it through, like what is the best course of action that you can do without falling for a trap, and then go ahead with it. But still, I would like to put a word of caution that no matter how much you try, at some point of time in your life, you are going to trust and you are going to fall for a scam. It is just that you need to minimize your chances. That is all.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to bring two important points. The first thing, holo, know your technology. If you're associated with any technology, know your technology. Mane WhatsApp, even if you are. Amar ekbar ki hoyechilo? Someone has sent me a random shobai good morning ফুলে ছবি পাঠায় আমার ব্যাংকের ম্যানেজার আমাকে রোজ ফুলের ছবি পাঠাতো সকালে খুব ভালো কথা তা একদিন আমি কোথায় ড্রাইভ করছি কন্টিনিউয়াস আমার স্টুডেন্টসদের ফোন আসছে কি হয়েছে ফোনটা ধরলাম কি হয়েছে স্যার আপনার ওই প্রোফাইলের স্টোরিতে আপনি ফুল দিয়েছেন সবাই ভয় পেয়ে গেছে স্যার প্রোফাইলে ফুল দিয়েছে কোনো একটা ঝামেলা হয়েছে এবার আমি জানতাম না কি করে ফুল চলে গেছে ওই ভদ্রলোকের ওই ফুলে মনে আমার হাত লেগে গেছে সেখান থেকে আমার প্রোফাইলে ওই কি স্টোরিতে ফুল হয়ে গেছে সো দ্য মোরাল অফ দ্য স্টোরি ইজ যে নো ইয়োর টেকনোলজি আদারওয়াইজ ইট ক্যান মিসফায়ার নাও অ্যাবাউট ট্রাস্ট Shomik brought up a very important point. This happened to me. Scamming আমার মনে পড়লো হঠাৎ so there's this guy, I'll tell you his name, Shomobrata Chatterjee. Shomobrata studied with me in my master's psychology. এবার ওর সঙ্গে অনেক বছর কথা হয়নি বরাবরই ও একটু অন্য লেভেলে লিটল স্ট্রেঞ্জ তা আমাকে ফোন করে হঠাৎ বলছে রাজ আমি এখন ইউনাইটেড নেশনে কাজ করছি সো আই ওয়ান্ট টু টেক ইউ আপ ইন ইউনাইটেড নেশনস চলো ওকে ভেরি গুড ঠিক আছে চলো তোর ভোটার্স আইডিটা দে আর 1000 টাকা এখানে পাঠিয়ে দে তো আমি না অনেস্টলি ভাবিনি আমি পাঠিয়ে immediately thought what the hell did I do Kora I said okay any other communication after this communicate to me over email oh হ্যাঁ করব সেই যে বন্ধ করলো communication he didn't go after that so someone you know can scam you because there are two emotions that are working right one is they're trying to identify what you're afraid of money accidents and everything and the second is what are you desiring yeah for some reason maybe on my social media he saw I was speaking about United Nations or whatever and shekhan theke he tried to scam me so if someone is giving you something that you desire just like that yeah be skeptical of that all right yeah
so with that I would like to say that when you trust there is always a possibility of being scammed but trusting is not a bad thing because our entire civilization and our entire society is built on the very foundation of trust. If you don't trust anyone, you cannot build things together. Okay. So, trust with caution. Trusting is good, blind faith is not. So, that's all from my end. Thank you.
এক্স্যাক্টলি মানে সবার কথা শুনে স্যারেদের কথা শুনে ফার্স্টে মাথায় এটাই হয়তো আসবে সবার যে ট্রাস্টিং পিপল নাও আর ডেজ ইজ আ চ্যালেঞ্জ বাট ইটস অ্যাকচুয়ালি নট যেটা স্যার মেনশন করলেন যে অফকোর্স উই হ্যাভ টু ট্রাস্ট পিপল ট্রাস্ট ইজ দ্য বিল্ডিং ব্লক ফর এনি রিলেশনশিপ ফর এনি কানেকশন ফ্রেন্ডশিপ যেটাই হোক বাট এগেন স্যার বললেন যে ব্লাইন্ডলি ট্রাস্ট আমরা কাউকে করবো না. We will trust people, but with correct information. First, investigate, take information, ঠিকঠাক মতো ইনফরমেশন নিয়ে নাও ভালো করে যা যা তুমি পাচ্ছ সব কিছু নিয়ে তারপর অফকোর্স ইউ উইল ট্রাস্ট ইউর লাভড ওয়ান ইউ উইল বি অলওয়েজ বি উইথ ইউর লাভড ওয়ান সেটা সবসময় থাকবে বাট অফকোর্স যেটা স্যারেরা ম্যামেরা বললেন যে ইউ অলওয়েজ হ্যাভ টু টেক প্রিকশনস অ্যান্ড প্রিভেনশনস যেটা আমরা সবসময় বলি যে প্রিভেনশনস ইজ বেটার দ্যান কিওর. So, aage theke beforehand, we have to take all the preventions and measures to keep ourselves safe. Acha. Thank you, sir. Next, our next panelist, Dr. Shweta Shah. Acha. Coming back to psychology a little bit. So, being a psychologist, what do you think that what role do our families, school, teachers, society, community plays in promoting all this safety internet use among children's or young population?
Thank you, DB ma'am. Thank you, Devangana ma'am, for your question. Good afternoon, everybody here. So, I'm sure it's working. Yeah. So basically, we are here on to talk about internet safety. So it's a very important day. In fact, 11th of Feb is considered to be as one of the important days where people get to know about safety internet usage. And therefore, we are here to talk about likes, links, and lies, where we are talking about how to, safeguard ourselves from internet, highly excessive use of internet. Now, internet is something which we are using on daily basis every day for booking a cab, for Blinkit, and everything. For a simple grocery also, we are dependent on this mobile phone. Now, this mobile phone, from a habit, it has converted into an addiction, which is what we are talking about. If it is a habit, if it is a thing which you are using for your own benefit, then it is absolutely fine. But if you are using it because I have to use it for a daily basis, then it's a problem. Now, last few days back, we heard a very, very unfortunate case where three small children, school-going children in Ghaziabad, they jumped from their balcony because of the fact that they were not allowed to use phones and they were playing some games. So parents, they took an action, but the action taken by them was very late, right? You have to, as a parent, like the role of educators, parents, school, college, community as a whole, the main force is that you have to start early. Early intervention is the crux where I feel is important. If these three children were stopped at an early age by their parents, I'm sure they would not have met with such an unfortunate incident. Because by the time they were stopped, they could not control themselves because of the impulsivity, which Anindita ma'am rightly said. Because it's there in the habit. It has become an impulsive act. They have to get over it. They have to play it. Now, because of this, they had to lose their lives because they were not able to, it's just like any other addiction. So first and foremost is that any parent, any of the educators, we have to start early. You have to think about it. Replace it with any activity, any constructive activity. You can either dance, you can either draw, you can do chess, you can play with your friends, whatever activity you want to play with, kindly replace with that particular thing, right? Instead of spending a lot of time on this gadget, which is affecting not only your mental strength but your society as a whole. We hardly know our neighbors. Why is it so? Why is it so that we don't know our neighbors who are staying just beside us? Why? We initially, last like 20 years, this change has been noticed. So this is absolutely just because of the fact that we are giving our most of the time to this gadget rather than giving time to our mates, neighbors, and everybody. So as a parent, the role of parent is the right modeling. I'm not blaming the children, but I'm also blaming the parents who are constantly on phone in front of the children. If the child is coming with a good marks that, Mama, see what I have got, you have to appreciate that as well as a parent. Or else what I do is I just sit and, oh yeah, very good, fine, go away. This is not it. This is not your modeling. The right kind of modeling is important for the child because he or she is, when growing up, is going to enact the same act with the future generations. So it's a vicious circle, If we don't act right, we are not giving right. So first is, as a parent, I feel that right kind of modeling is very important. Talking about peer pressure is very important. As we talked about peer pressure from online cyberbullying, all these things, comparison, this peer pressure is important when you talk about with your loved ones, with your children, adults, whoever it is. Right? So talking about negative peer pressure, positive peer pressure, and online and open communication with the generation which is belonging to you, which in your house, is very important. Right? I have some examples of my daughter who is in school. She also comes and talks about peer pressure, but this open communication is what is needed. This is the need of the hour. Instead, we sit back and we scroll our phones. What are you losing on? You're losing on a good quality conversation which could have enlightened the young mind. Right? So as a parent, I feel this is important. From school and educating college point of view, if these seminars like these, right, help children to get accustomed to the right usage of online, that is important. Seminars like Sister Nivedita only hosted a cyberbullying workshop for elderly people. So seminar like these, I'm sure, is going to help a lot in community level. And in community level, we can have these recreation activities, we can have get-togethers, which we are losing on. We have get-togethers in pandals, in pujas, which is, again, handful of people I see nowadays. Why is it so? It's sad. So to sum up with, I would say, right, education, literacy, mentorship, guidance, and finally empowerment is what we need for a good digital safeguard from these online scams. So thank you so much, Debangana. This is what I had to say.
In continuation to what ma'am said, I would like to add a few words. So if you think about yourself, okay, you always have the need to connect with someone, be it a friend, be it a family, be it anybody else. And this need to connect is what is making you disconnect from yourself and disconnect from others in general. You will see, if you closely observe your own behavior, you will see that you are on social media when you are not being social. I'm going to say that again. You are on social media when you are not being social. Being social means when you're out with your friends. Let's say you're playing a game with your friend. Let's say you're playing Uno with your friends at a party. Or you are out there, going for a walk with your friends. You are at a particular club enjoying with your friends. Or maybe at a birthday party, or, there's a house party going on. Or maybe you have gone for a picnic. Just reflect, when you are spending time with your friends, when was the last time you picked up your phone to check your Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat? Maybe sometimes when you go for a movie, you put your phone on silent. Because you're enjoying with your friends over there, you're chit-chatting in between the movie, you're talking about a particular scene. So when you're actually being social, you are avoiding social media. And there's an interesting fact about addiction, which has also been, understood by a rat experiment, that a lonely rat in a particular cage was given two sources of water, one laced with an addictive substance, another a normal one. And the rat didn't have anything to do over there. So for that constant hit of addiction, it would go to the water laced with addictive substance. So the experimenters did something. What they did is they put a lot of maze and games and toys inside the cage and put other rats in there as well. So immediately they saw the rats which were earlier addicted to that particular substance were not going for that particular water, were rather going for the normal water. Okay. So it's not the addiction that your brain is looking for. It's the dopamine hit that your brain is looking for. If you have a social circle with whom you can hang out and you can enjoy the moment and everything, your brain is already getting the dopamine hit that it requires from the social gathering, and it is also helping you socially bond with other people who are going to be helpful in the future. So you're also building a social capital here. But when you're on social media and you're just clicking likes on your photos, tell me, probably you get like 50 likes on your Instagram post. Do you ever go and check that who all have liked your photos? You don't. But let's say if there are 5 people in a social gathering, okay, and all 5 of them are complimenting on how you're looking or what you have achieved and everything, you remember them. That, okay, these are the people who actually care about you. So just imagine what you want to do, whether you want to have 50 likes on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram post, or do you want to have 5 people who actually genuinely like you in person, and that will tell you what is the best way out. And that will actually get you out of the addiction of social media, as we say it. Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। যেটা স্যার বললেন যে একদমই তাই, যে হাউ টু বি সোশ্যাল, যে আমরা সোশ্যাল কি করে হব। এখানেই যদি আমি দেখি এক্সাম্পল দিই, যে হাউ মেনি অফ ইউ সিটিং হিয়ার ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি লিসেনিং টু হোয়াট ইজ happening or what we are discussing right now on stage, and not clicking photos and taking videos and clicking selfies. So সেটা দেখলেই I think যদি দেখি আমরা এটা বোঝা যাবে যে কতজন অ্যাকচুয়ালি শুনছে আর কতজন জাস্ট ফটো বা ভিডিও বা স্ট্যাটাস দেওয়ার জন্য ওখানে ফটো ভিডিওস নিচ্ছে, যাতে যারা স্ট্যাটাস দিতে পারে দ্যাট উই হ্যাভ অ্যাটেন্ডেড আ সেমিনার অ্যাট আওয়ার ইউনিভার্সিটি। তো সেটা একটা সত্যি যেটা স্যার বললেন একদমই কারেক্ট। সো ঘুরে ফিরে আমরা যেখান থেকে শুরু করেছিলাম ওখানেই আসছি, যে ওই কম্প্যারিজন, দ্যাট হাউ টু কম্পেয়ার আওয়ার সেলফ, উইথ হুম উই শুড কম্পেয়ার আওয়ার সেলফ, সেইগুলো একটুখানি আমাদের মাথায় রাখতে হবে। বাট আমি একটু ম্যামের কাছে যাব, শ্বেতা ম্যামের কাছে আমার একটা question আছে, যে ম্যাম you have mentioned that unfortunate case of that child, that is very unfortunate that we lost those kids, talented kids, but তারপরে আমরা দেখছি যে the authorities or the government has taken a decision to ban social media among children. So do you think it's a correct measure to ban social media?
There are many countries, who are taking
these steps, yes.
Yeah, because of the fact, because the parents are not giving adequate time. So you have to take a strict measure on that, right? I'm not here to judge what the government has said, but because of the fact that the parents are unable to provide that guidance, the government is taking a strict actions. If the parents were there to guide them, what is right and what is wrong, and you have to follow a stricter routine. Now, for our students also, I'm sure students will agree to it. When they sit for studies, a single ting in the phone and they get distracted. Right? So why is that? Because they don't have a option of keeping the phone aside and just focusing on what they are doing.
And also taking photos of the blackboard, instead of writing it down. Absolutely. They want to take photos of the...
Where are we heading to? So some stricter actions needs to be taken when these milder forms of guidance are not helping. So I feel that, it is somewhat correct. I don't disagree to it.
And
yes,
sir,
I want to add something which is obviously very new. In one of my master's class, I gave an assignment of, so I was speaking about self, and I gave an assignment, you guys remember, right? That I gave an assignment of writing about yourself. And this young woman, I saw her paper and I asked her, তুই লিখেছিস? বলছে স্যার প্রম্পটটা আমি দিয়েছি. So self-কে নিয়ে লেখা, and she's given the prompt. So the self-টাও AI দিয়ে লেখা. Which is interesting is because now social means something else. As a matter of fact, I would like to argue that AI is God. What do I mean by God? Because God is someone who always has the answer for everything. AI is an entity or is a concept which has answers for everything. Right or wrong is something else entirely, but it does. And along with God, AI is a companion, right? Kemon acho, some of you, I'm sure, speak to AI as an individual. Yeah, not just a generic machine technology. So perhaps how we are social is also redefined by our interaction with AI. It's going to be an interesting few years. By the way, if none of you have seen it, I've spoken about this in my class. Read this book on Bicentennial Man. It is one of the most classic texts about an AI entity wanting to get a personhood. And 200 বছর লেগেছিল, but it finally got personhood by the Supreme Court. So that's really interesting. Yep.
আচ্ছা, এইটা নিয়ে আমি একটু অনিন্দিতা ম্যামকেও একবার জিজ্ঞেস করব যে যেমন শ্বেতা ম্যাম বললেন, শি হ্যাজ মানে একদমই কারেক্ট বললেন যে দ্যাট উই হ্যাভ টু টেক সাম স্ট্রিক্ট অ্যাকশন অ্যাট সাম পয়েন্ট অফ টাইম, বাট হোয়াট ইজ ইউর পার্সপেক্টিভ অন দিস ম্যাম, যে যদি আমরা একটা বাচ্চাকে বলি যে ডোন্ট ডু দিস, যখনই আমরা কোনো জিনিস রেস্ট্রিক্ট করে দিচ্ছি তখন মনে হয় যে এটা কি কোনো নেগেটিভ এফেক্ট ফেলতে পারে ওদের ওপরে, যে ব্যান্ড করে দেওয়াটা?
হ্যাঁ, তো যখনই কোনো কিছু সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া বা কিছু আমরা ব্যান করে দিচ্ছি, তাহলে অল্টারনেটিভ কিছু দিতে হবে তাকে। হ্যাঁ, কখনোই বন্ধ করে দিলাম আর কিছু দিলাম না অল্টারনেটিভ, তাহলে হবে না। সেইটা কিন্তু প্যারেন্টদের ভাবতে হবে যে কিভাবে তাদের এনগেজ করতে পারি আমরা ক্রিয়েটিভ ওয়েতে, বা ও কি ভালোবাসে, কি পছন্দ করে, সেগুলো দিয়ে আমাদের কিন্তু তাকে এনগেজমেন্ট একটা কিছু না কিছু দিতে হবে। আদারওয়াইজ কোনো কিছু উইথড্র করা, না বলে দেওয়া ভীষণ ইজি। হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু তার সাবস্টিটিউট, আমাকে কিছু একটা সাবস্টিটিউশন দিতে হবে তাকে।
হ্যাঁ, কারণ অনেক বেশি বাচ্চারা তাহলে আরো বেশি কিউরিয়াস হয়ে যাবে যে কেন আমাকে ওটা বারণ করা হচ্ছে, তো ইট উইল ক্রিয়েট মোর নেগেটিভ মানে ইমাজিনেশন বা থটস ইনসাইড দেম। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা, so now we have came to the last part of this panel discussion. So lastly, I want to ask from all the 4 participants that what are your tips, very short, in short, if you share your tips for the audience today, from this regarding this internet safety বা cyber bullying বা এই যে এতক্ষণ যে ডিসকাশন হলো, কিছু tips বা take away message that our audiences can take from this panel discussion.
The only thing, hopefully you will all, like I started with the same thing, I'm going to finish with the same thing. Find a purpose, find something that makes you happy, which again gives you meaning to get up in the morning, and we have to tell ourselves we are enough. If we do, then we don't have to prove anyone to anything. And remember, we all wear masks. We do, whether we like it or not. How deeply do we believe in that mask, and at what point does that mask becomes us? That has to be identified. Otherwise, enjoy your life. Try not to harm each other. That's all.
Ma'am?
যখন ক্লাস করবে মোবাইলটা বন্ধ করে ক্লাস করার চেষ্টা করবে। আমাদের খুব ভালো লাগবে যদি তোমরা ইন্টারঅ্যাক্ট করো ক্লাসে, আর আমরা যেগুলো পড়াচ্ছি লেখাচ্ছি সেগুলো একটুখানি বোঝার চেষ্টা করো। আমার এটাই বলার।
হ্যাঁ, এটাই ম্যাম যেটা বললেন ওটাই আমি অ্যাড করব। স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্স ক্লাসে সবাই ক্যালকুলেটর আনবে, ফোনে কেউ ক্যালকুলেট করবে না।
My tip for the students over here is all of you are from the Department of Psychology, and so you very well understand the difference between need and want. What you want to do and what you need to do. So whenever you're going on the internet and you're using it for any purpose whatsoever, just ask yourself like what need of yours is being fulfilled by that source, and if there are other better sources available for you to satisfy that need. Like sir bollen je AI companion er ব্যাপারটা, so that is also becoming a very common trend of having an AI companion যার সাথে আমরা কথা বলতে পারি, যার সাথে আমরা কথা বলতে চাই, because most of the time we don't have anybody to talk to, or maybe there is someone who is going to judge us or anything. So একটা জিনিস তোমাকে বুঝতে হবে যে there is a need to connect to another person, but what you're doing is you're connecting with an entity which is not a human, which does not have emotions, which does not have that level of cognition that so many millions of years of evolution has given us, because we are the creator of this entity. So সেই জন্যই just think about what is your need and whether this internet source is fulfilling that need, and if it is doing that, whether there are better sources out there that can fulfill that need or not. That is all.
Ma'am.
Only two things I would like to add. First is self-regulation of emotions, which is very, very important, because as in the initial part of the discussion, the psychological symptoms were impulsivity, aggression, so you have to regulate on your emotions, which is very, very, very important. And secondly, as a student, time management skills are highly, highly important. Okay, if a submission is being said on that day, kindly do submit on that day, because if not, then it is becoming again a habit. If you go on in your work front and then authority figure asks you for something, you said, oh, it's okay, I'll do it on that day. That is not going to work. Okay, so time management is very, very important, because you're spending a lot of time here, so you can't manage your time. And the second is self-regulation emotion. This is what I feel.
And take things a little bit seriously. Yes. Thank you, all our panelists, for all your valuable insights and opinions, learning. So now the stage is open for the audience. Anyone wants to ask anything, any question, feedback, wants to share anything? Yes. Yes, বলো। মাইকটা বোধহয় অন নেই, দেখো তো মাইক অন আছে। হ্যাঁ বলো।
Good morning all. My name is Aniket. I want to ask one thing. Actually, আপনি যেটা এক্ষুনি বললেন যে ট্রাস্ট এমন একটা জিনিস যেটা মানে একটা মানুষের করাটা খুব দরকার, না করলে পরে it will be it may become a problem to maintain ourselves in a society. So আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে যে কারোর উপরে ট্রাস্ট করার আগে তার মাথার মধ্যে অ্যাকচুয়ালি চলছেটা কি, তার উপরে অ্যাকচুয়ালি ট্রাস্ট করা যাবে আদৌ কিনা, সেটা আগে থেকে কি করে বোঝা যাবে?
থ্যাংক ইউ অনিকেত, এটা খুব ভালো একটা প্রশ্ন করেছো যে কিভাবে ট্রাস্ট করা যাবে, কিভাবে ট্রাস্ট করা যাবে না। সো তোমরা যারা একটু সায়েন্স ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড থেকে আছো, মানে কেমিস্ট্রি ল্যাবে একটা টেস্ট হয় যেখানে একটা সলভেন্ট থাকে আর তার মধ্যে তোমার ড্রপ করে আরেকটা টাইট্রেশন বলা হয়, একটা লিকুইড দেওয়া হয় এবং তারপর দেখা যায় যে নিচের পাত্রে জিনিসটা রং বদলাচ্ছে কিনা। ঠিক আছে, তো ট্রাস্টিং ইজ সামথিং অফ দ্যাট, মানে টাইট্রেশনের মতো ধরতে পারো। তুমি একটু করে এফর্ট দিচ্ছ, তুমি একটু করে ট্রাস্ট করছো, তুমি শুধু এটা দেখতে চাইছো যে মানুষটা রং বদলাচ্ছে কিনা।
ওকে,
যেই মুহূর্তে রংটা বদলাবে সেই মুহূর্তে স্টপ ক্লকটা বন্ধ করে দিতে হবে।
আচ্ছা।
Yeah, but I also need to address this. This is absolutely true, Shomir. I agree with Shomir. কিন্তু এটাও সত্যি, sometimes especially for people who you care about, those logics don't work. I wish humanity was driven by logic, but it is not. Humanity is driven by emotions. So we have to accept. Amar girlfriend jai chak tokon, even if it's not good for me, sometimes I'm going to do that dumb thing. I'm going to trust her, because I care for her. So yeah, it's something. You know what? I would say it's something that you learn over the ages. You get a little bit of setbacks, but obviously try to see at least jader cheno na, at least tader kaছ থেকে. I'll tell you this way. যখন আমরা martial arts practice করি, so for the last 20 odd years, whenever I move around people, generally আমার হাতটা এরকম তোলা থাকে. Yeah? What does means I'm not going to do any harm to you, but if you strike me, I know how to take care of that. So it's probably that psychological guard, in a sense, that you need to create, and we all need to create at the end of the day.
মানে আগে থেকে কনসিয়াস হওয়াটা দরকার, আগে থেকে মানে একটু রেডি হওয়া থাকাটা দরকার।
Practice and but if you love someone, it's okay to be hurt. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
ওকে,
তো আবারও ওইটাই বলবো, ড্রপ করে ব্যাপারটা, আর একটা এক্সপেরিমেন্ট হয়ে গেল, যদি রং বদলে যায়, ইউ মুভ অন টু দ্য নেক্সট এক্সপেরিমেন্ট। ঠিক আছে, মানে ওই একবার রং একজন বদলে ফেলেছে বলে আমি মানে আর কারোর উপরে ট্রাস্ট করব না, সেই জিনিসটা যেন না হয়।
হ্যাঁ, আর ওইটাই যেটা স্যারেরা দুজনেই বললেন, যে আমাদের দুটোই আছে, আমরা ইমোশনালি ড্রিভেনও আবার লজিক্যালিও ড্রিভেনও। তো দুটোই আমাদের একটু বুদ্ধি খরচ করে ইউজ করতে হবে। সবসময় ইমোশন দিয়েও হবে না, আবার সবসময় লজিক দিয়েও হবে না, দুটোই ইউজ করে একটু ব্যালেন্স করতে হবে। আর আরেকটা কথা হচ্ছে যে সারাক্ষণই আমি যে স্যার বললেন যে আমি ড্রপ দিয়েই যাচ্ছি, সারা জীবন দিয়ে গেলাম, হবে না। এক জায়গায় আমাকে থামতে হবে, কোথাও গিয়ে আমাকে থামতে হবে, নাহলে আমার মধ্যে আর কিছু থাকবে না। আর মানে একজনকে সেকেন্ড চান্স দেওয়া ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ইটস গুড যে সেকেন্ড চান্স আমি কাউকে দিচ্ছি, কিন্তু থার্ড চান্স আমি কাউকে দেব না, সেটা আমাদের মাথায় রাখতে হবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Any other question from the audience?
Any other question?
No. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone. So thank you all the panelists for this very insightful and learning panel discussion. So now I would like to ask all the faculty members to please come and join us for a group photo on stage.
Sir, Mike.
আচ্ছা, আফটার দিস আমরা কিন্তু স্টুডেন্টদের সাথেও ছবি তুলবো, একটা গ্রুপ ফটো। হ্যাঁ, সো আচ্ছা, একটা জিও ট্যাগ ছবি কারোর ফোনে আছে কি? একটা একটু তুলে না, ওরম ভাবে ডাকা যায় না। আচ্ছা, ফার্স্ট হচ্ছে ইউজি সেমিস্টার 2, স্টুডেন্টস অফ ইউজি সেমিস্টার 2, প্লিজ কাম।